Salutations, guys. Welcome back to Rail Chief 74 today here on the channel, and most importantly, welcome to a very special White Whale products review for today's episode. Now, before we continue on with today's video, I do want to address that I was one of the winners for the very special giveaway on Trains.com for this month, so I thought it would be appropriate to wear my Trains-inspired t-shirt with me today for today's episode, along with my brand new Trains.com inspired lanyard that I also have for today's episode. And I also did receive a bunch of other cool stuff with my mystery box, including this very nice looking iHeartTrains.com sticker, which has a very striking picture of the New York Central 20th Century Limited on it, also known as the Dreyfus Hudson. Now, this is going to be going into my sticker collection, along with some of the other stickers that I have received from my train buddies on social media. So I want to make sure that's going to be put in a safe place. And I also did find this very cool little pin in my package as well. Once again, this is a Trains.com inspired pin, and I'm going to be wearing this on my baseball cap for any of the future videos that I'll be doing on anything Trains.com related. But the main elephant in the room that I do want to address is what's behind this orange box here. And this is definitely the month for orange box goodness, because I was really stoked and shocked to see this particular product in my package. And what that is, I am about to reveal to you all right now. And that will be this little item here. So this is Lionel's 1995 reproduction of the original Baltimore and Ohio 6464 325 boxcar from 1956. Now, I will get into much more information on this car in just a few moments, but I was really stoked to see this in my package, like I said, because how they knew I was on the hunt for this car for a very long time, I might never know, but I'm more than happy to have the reproduction of this car in my collection. So what we're going to do now is to take a better look at this car. We'll talk about some of the newer features that it includes. We'll also do a little bit of a running session a little bit later on in this video, showing the car in operation behind the consist. We'll talk a little history, and as always, we'll have fun with this video like we always do. So, with that being said, sit back and relax, and let's hop right to it. Now, normally I don't really talk about rolling stock a whole lot when it comes to buying and collecting. I mostly just talk about locomotives such as steam engines, diesels, and electrics. And if it's something like a small piece of rolling stock, whether it's like a passenger car or a boxcar or a caboose, I normally just put out like a small post or a short video on that particular item. But if it's something that has a really big and golden rich history to it, then I will do like a full-on review regardless of that product. And the 6464 325 Sentinel is no exception, because this is the 1995 reproduction of the original Sentinel boxcar, which was introduced by Lionel in 1956 only. So come around 1945 through 1949, this was during the time when Lionel was slowly coming out of World War II. They wanted to come up with some new and inventive ideas to reinvent the product, so they decided to add a little bit more realism to the rolling stock, even though the size of them were still very toy-like. Whether you had the 6465 Sunoco 2-dome tank car, the 3469 automatic dump car, or the 6357 SP-style caboose, Lionel was headed into a much better direction when it came to realism for their toy trains. But then come around 1953 or so, they were introducing much larger locomotives as well. So to complement those locomotives, they wanted to introduce a brand new freight car series that would complement them. So that was the birth of the 6464 boxcar line. And through 1953 through 1969, Lionel has come out with 30 different variations of the 6464 boxcar. Whether it was a different color sample or a road name, the 6464 boxcars quickly became highly collectible. And then 50 years later, in 1993, Lionel thought it was the perfect time to reintroduce some reproductions of the original 6464 Lionel boxcars. And around 1995 or so, the Sentinel boxcar made its reintroduction into the set numbered 6-19257, and that was part of Volume 6 of the reintroduction of the 6464 boxcars. for each volume that you would buy, you would get 3 different 64 boxcars. Now, the cars that came in volume 6 were the 64 375 Central Georgia boxcar, the 64 300 Rutland car, and the 64 325. All right, so now that all of that's out of the way, and before we go ahead and get on with the running session here, once again, there really isn't a whole lot of detail to discuss about when it comes to these 64 cars, but considering that I am a really big fanatic when it comes to post-war Lionel, like I mentioned earlier, I have nothing against the reproductions, and I think there are some things that the reproductions really do improve on as far as the originals go, such as the main horse in the room, or the main elephant in the room at the bottom here, which is of course the metal sprung trucks and couplers. I think that's a really nice improvement overall, which helps give the car a little bit more sturdiness. And what I noticed with the plastic here, that if you bring it up against like a lamp or the sunlight, the plastic does have like a little bit of a shine to the paint, which is very interesting. And here on the left here we have the Baltimore and Ohio fast freight service Sentinel with the 64 325 on the side, just like on the original. We have the built by Lionel in 1956 at the bottom. And right over here on the right side of the car, we do have the separately applied molded-in brake wheel, as well as the Baltimore and Ohio Sentinel service graphic on the back. And just like all of the other 64 cars, the doors do open up on each side. And now if we bring this on over to the layout, I want to share one more little piece of information that not that many people really know about. So before 1956, most of the 64 boxcars had a single large block in the center of the door. But in 1956 and 1957, they made some changes by adding a couple of more blocks, including 2 in the center and 2 additional blocks at the bottom here. So if we just pull up the Great Northern here, we can see that this is a good example of what Lionel was intentionally doing with these cars back in the day. Here we have the single block in the center of the door. And as for the, not just the reproduction, but also with the original, they added the few additional blocks, as you can see here. So that's also a really nice attention to detail that the reproduction has. And so now we're going to go ahead and hook this on up to a train, and considering that we're running a reproduction of a 1956 Lionel toy here, I thought it would be very appropriate to run it with the 2008 reproduction of the 2341 Jersey Central FM, which was reintroduced by Lionel for the post-war celebration series. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and hook up a consist. We'll run the car around the layout for a little bit, and we'll have fun with it. Alright, now let's go ahead and apply some power to the track, and we'll get this bad boy up and running.
Here. Are we clear to pull? Over. Jersey Central, 2341. Please stand by. Over. Acknowledged. 2341 is standing by. Out. Jersey Central, 2341. You're good to go. Over. Thank you much. All clear. 2341 out.
I'm shutting this train down. 2341 out.
Okay, well, that about wraps it up for today's episode. Before we go ahead and sign off for today, if anybody over at trains.com is watching this video as of right now, deep down, I just want to say thank you all for sending me this in the mail and for thinking of me. You know, I've been on the hunt for this particular item for a very long time, but I never would have thought I would own this car until now. So I'm definitely going to be having a whole lot of fun with this particular 6464 boxcar in the near future and for many years to come. So with that being said, my name is Mike. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell down below for any other projects that I upload. And don't forget to check out some of my other channels on social media, including my brand new Discord channel. And if you guys want to also go check out the other 64 cars that were in the series from 1993 up until the early 2000s, I'm going to leave a link down below to my good friend Frank from Twisted MacGyver's Trains, where he does his review on all of the volume series of the 64 box cars in chronological order. So I hope you guys will enjoy watching that, and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching today's video as well. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Take care.